screen. It's going to, and now it says we are live.
The stream is live. It tells me in the left corner and also in the center when that happens.
Okay. Okay. So you are presenting, I think.
Okay, so I don't have control over who's presenting, but I can load up my window for you to queue up. So it looks like we're here, and I'm going to hit continents and oceans. Can you see my face?
I can see your face, and I can see you're in continents and oceans.
Okay, so you
Okay.
got Africa, Antarctica, Asia, Australia, Europe, North America, and South America. Try to improve your time. Africa, Antarctica, Asia, Australia, Europe, North America, South America. Level 1 cleared. Okay. Next one is 12 questions. So we have Africa, and oh, nope, that's an ocean. Antarctica, Asia, Australia, Europe, North America, South America, Arctic Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, Indian Ocean, Pacific. Oh, that's the Southern Ocean. This is the Pacific Southern. So I got 2 wrong, and I got to improve my time. So we'll do Africa, Antarctica, Asia, Australia, Europe, North America, South America, Arctic Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, Indian Ocean, Pacific Ocean, Southern Ocean. Level 2 cleared. Now it's 12 questions in random order. So then we have South America, we have the Southern Ocean, we have the Pacific Ocean, the Indian Ocean, Africa, Australia, Atlantic Ocean, Europe, Asia, Arctic Ocean, and then North America and Antarctica. Level 3 cleared. Okay, little rusty, but we're getting better. I'm going to hit go. We're going to hit Africa, Australia, Pacific Ocean, Indian Ocean, North America. We'll hit up the Southern Ocean, Europe, Antarctica, Atlantic Ocean, Asia, South America, Arctic Ocean up top, and we got 100%. Booyah.
That's excellent. Can I talk at the same time that you're taking a break for a second then?
You absolutely could. So I'm just seeing my window ahead of me, but I'll move to my other window. And Bob, you
Okay.
can take it away if you'd like to.
So how do we switch to that then? Do I take that from the do you off that from the stage and add
Yeah,
this to the
so
stage?
you are
So
the
now,
host, so you're the one that changes the slides. I'm able to load up my presentation for you, but whoever's running StreamYard is calling all the shots, basically.
okay, I'm going to get back into the same game that Matt just played, and that's a free game, Continents and Oceans. We go to clickandlearn.fun and we select the game title, uh, whatever that says. And I'm going to play in, let's go to review mode. Once you've learned, we can go to review mode or test mode at any time. In review mode, it goes through all alphabetically, all questions on the screen. In this case, review mode should have been all 12 questions. Let me try that again. I go to review mode and single player. It only has 7 questions on the screen. I'm not sure why that is. It asks for Africa, Antarctica, Asia, Australia, Europe, North America, and South America. And really, in order to beat the clock, we have to be able to click from one place to the other without actually. Now, that didn't work, Dell. Okay. That was in review mode, but it only showed the first 7. Maybe that's because we are not a customer. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go up to the game library, and there's a section called uh, there's a free area up here.
Oh,
Maybe that's
Bob, I think you hit the continents game, and there's only 7 continents. I think that was the reason. I think I hit
okay.
continents and oceans, and you played strictly the continents game.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Thank you. So now I go to continents and oceans. I switched to review mode, and this should have all 12 now because there we go, 12 questions. And in order to beat the clock, and this is a racing game, you have to focus, you have to concentrate. So we're going to go through this without even looking at the questions because we've learned how to play. We know that after I click Africa, Antarctica, Asia, Australia, Europe, North America, South America, Arctic, Atlantic, South America, Arctic, Atlantic, Indian, Pacific, and Southern. You notice up here, I've got 6 seconds left. So I beat the clock by 6 seconds. Okay. Beat the clock. And that's how review mode is. Whether you're doing 50 states, I'm going to exit from, I got 100% on that. So I can see what the certificate says. The certificate says I answered 0 of 12 questions. That's because I'm not in test mode. I'm going to exit from that. And I'm going to exit at the top left corner. The top left corner is where you can have an emergency exit. If the class ends, the bell rings, you got to do something different. You can exit at any time in the top left corner by clicking this arrow up there. Matt, did you see that? Were you able to see that arrow in the top left corner?
I was able to see that.
You were. Okay, good. So now I'm going to do the same game, but I'm going to go into test mode. And this is, again, another thing that you can do once you've learned. For me, this is one of my favorite parts. I'm going to go to full screen, click go. And for me, it's favorite. I get in and play these games. Right now, we're working on Puerto Rico, and I can get in and play the game and see if I can score 100% on all 78 municipalities of Puerto Rico. And this is the exciting part of clicking on. So we're in test mode. It asks for North America. They're going to be in a random order. North America, the buttons do not disappear. It asks for Australia. I get a green light. If I get it wrong, it asks for Africa, and I click Europe instead. You see, I get a red light. I'm not going to score 100% because I just got a red light. And as a student, I want to show my teacher that I can score 100%. So I'm going to exit with the exit up at the top left. I'm going to get back into that same game, switch to test mode, but now I'm going to focus. I'm going to focus, and I'm going to think about this. You're not racing the clock. You got plenty of time. It asks for Africa, Atlantic Ocean, Indian, South America, Southern Ocean. The question appears at the top. You have to look at the question each time because we're in random order. Okay. Europe, Pacific Ocean, Pacific, Asia, Antarctica, Arctic Ocean, Arctic, Australia. And you'll notice that I've answered 11 of 12 questions. When I click the next button for North America, it's going to show me that I got them all correct. Notice that on the screen, I've got green lights for everything, and I scored 100%. If you wait a few seconds, it's going to show you the certificate, which you can click on it. Since I'm in test mode, when I show that certificate, it shows that, and it would have my if I was a registered user, it would show my name here, and it would show my avatar here. But it shows that I've correctly answered 12 of 12 questions on Saturday, continents and notes. So I'm going to close that window out, and we're going to go right back to click the exit button. And I'm going to go right back and have Matt. I'm going to take myself off the stage. I'm going to add Matt back on the stage, and he's going to, looks like he's still on his screen. He's at the exit point for the game he just played. So he's presenting now for a few minutes.
Okay. Let's see if I can hop into another game. I'll hit free geography games and see what we have available today.
Where did you find free geography games, Matt? Where did you find that?
One of the first bars where it says, welcome, click here to start. I went to the side and there was this gentleman looking at a United States map with free geography games. And I clicked that bar, which opened this up for me.
So all of these games you see on the screen are free. Very good. And you can pick whichever one you want.
Okay, so South America, I need a refresher on. So I'll start from the beginning. Argentina, Bolivia, Brazil, Chile, Colombia, Ecuador, and the Falkland Islands. Okay, so Argentina, Bolivia, Brazil, Chile, Colombia, Ecuador, Falkland Islands. Great.
Okay, you beat the clock. Now
Argentina,
you're going to 14 questions.
Bolivia, Brazil, Chile, Colombia, Ecuador, Falkland Islands, no, that's Guyana. French Guyana, Guyana, Paraguay, that's Venezuela. Paraguay, I think, is here. Then Peru, that's not Peru. Peru, that's Peru. Suriname's in the middle here. Then we have Uruguay, Venezuela. All right, so that was a little more rough, so I'm going to try that again.
Try that and
Argentina.
show them how to use the show me button up there when it pops up too.
Okay.
After 5 seconds, the show me button appears. You can click that, and that shows you where, in this case, Chile is located. So now Matt's back on a roll.
Okay. Colombia, Ecuador, Falkland Islands, French Guyana, Guyana, and then Suriname's in the middle, Paraguay here. Then we have Peru, Suriname's in the middle, Uruguay's down here, and then Venezuela. All right, so I did better, but let's try to do it within the time limit. Argentina, Bolivia, Brazil, Chile. Can't believe I forgot where Colombia is. Colombia, Ecuador, Falkland Islands, French Guyana, Guyana, Paraguay. Oh, no, that's Venezuela. This is Peru, Suriname in the middle, Uruguay, Venezuela. So I was just 1 second over, and I did get a few things wrong. So I'll try that again.
And the cool
Argentina.
thing is, the cool thing is, notice he went from 15 seconds over to 1 second over the second time. Go ahead, Matt.
You got it, Toyota. So Ecuador, Falkland Islands, this is where I get a little confused, but I'm going to do the best I can to get them right. So Peru is right here. Then we have Suriname in the middle, Uruguay in the corner there, and Venezuela. 2 seconds over, but I didn't get anything wrong this time. Or if
That's
I did,
because I was talking. That's because I was talking too much. Go ahead.
Okay, Brazil, Chile, Colombia, Ecuador, Falkland Islands, French Guyana, Guyana, Paraguay. Then we have Peru, Suriname in the middle, Uruguay down there, and Venezuela. Level 2 cleared. Now it's 14 questions in random order. So we have Brazil, then we have Ecuador, then we have the Falkland Islands, Venezuela, Argentina, Bolivia, Colombia, Guyana, French Guyana, Uruguay, Peru, Paraguay, Suriname, and Chile. That was the most comfortable I've been. So even when I was getting things wrong and had to redo the level again, going back made me a lot more confident. And I'm trying to whisper or speak out loud in this echoey pool table room in Puerto Rico just to help me use multiple intelligences and using speaking as a way to help me remember and help my brain remember. And this is a refresher too. There was a point last year where I knew all these down pat and I needed to go back and help myself remember. I believe this is test mode, so there's no time limit, and Bob and I can talk a lot more as I'm doing this one. But the buttons don't disappear.
Have you ever been to any of these countries?
I've been to Ecuador and the Galapagos Islands. Very, very beautiful.
Okay.
Argentina, Ecuador, Paraguay, Colombia, Uruguay, Falkland Islands, Brazil. Oh, I might have hit Venezuela for the wrong thing. We'll see. French Guiana. I got 100%.
100%.
Okay.
Very good. Very good.
Awesome. But yeah, Ecuador and the Galapagos are a beautiful part of the world. There's so many beautiful animals. There's mountains. There's rainforests and rivers. The weather is really interesting. I haven't been for a long time, but I loved it when I went as a student.
And you also got to meet the tortoise, who Charles Darwin met 100 and some years ago. Is that correct?
I met Lonesome George while he was still alive. He passed away, I think, at least 5 years ago now. But I met the same tortoise that Charles Darwin studied while he was on the Galapagos, thinking about evolution and all this other crazy stuff.
This is incredible. I tell you what, let me do the same one. I'm
Okay.
going to remove your game from the stage, but you and I are still on. I'm going to add myself to the stage, and I'm going to get in and play that same game. I'm going up to, and tell me, Matt, if this comes up correctly. I'm going to click the one that says free geography games.
Yep,
And
it's all coming up.
okay, I'm going to click South America. And everybody learns a different way. There's different tricks. Matt has his tricks, I have mine, but when we work together, we're going to tell you guys all of the tricks that we have learned to help you get through this. I'm in learn mode. I'm going to click single player. I'm going to click go. Well, I'm going to make it maximize the screen. I'm going to click go. It asks for Argentina. Since we're in a learn mode, we have 7 at a time. When I get the correct button, it asks for Argentina. If I get it correct, I get a green light. The button disappears. There's only 6 buttons left now. The question changes to Bolivia, and we're racing the clock. We've only got 10 seconds, and I've already used all of them up just by talking. But it asks for Bolivia. If I don't know the answer, if I wait 5 seconds, the show me button appears, and I can use the show me button to show me where's Bolivia. Brazil is big. Chile actually looks like a chili, a red chili or a green chili, long and thin. Colombia is connected to the Central America through Panama. Colombia is connected. Okay. Ecuador is on the equator. That's where Matt has visited. Falkland Islands are easy. First of all, there's only one button left on the screen, and that's the only area that's an island. So that's Falkland Island. 41 seconds over. But it takes about 4 plays, and each time you're going to cut that time in half. It asks for Argentina. Argentina, Bolivia, Brazil, Chile, Colombia, Ecuador, then Equator, Falkland Islands. We beat the clock, and now we go to 14 questions. I click go. We already practiced with the first 7, so we can race through the first 7 without looking at the questions because we know it's going to be Argentina, Bolivia, Brazil, Chile, Colombia, Ecuador, and Falkland Islands. It's in alphabetical order, so if you know the alphabet, you can fly through this. But now we have 7 new questions. One of these is French Guiana. I click this. Okay, that's French Guiana. Guyana. Paraguay. Here's the thing about Uruguay and Paraguay. Uruguay starts with the letter U. Paraguay starts with the letter P. And when you put those letters together, it stands for the word up. So up is up. So Uruguay is at the bottom. Paraguay is at the top of these 2. So that's how we know the difference is Paraguay, Peru, Suriname. Uruguay is part of the UP, up, and Venezuela. 29 seconds over, but I'm going to review. I'm going to fly through Argentina, Bolivia, Brazil, Chile, Colombia, Ecuador, Falkland Islands. Whisper as you click. That helps you learn quicker and retain the information. Now we have the 7 new. I remember this is French Guiana. This was Guyana. Paraguay. I know that says Uruguay, and this is Paraguay. That's Paraguay. Peru, Suriname, Uruguay. And here's what our programmer tells me. Years ago, he showed me that Venezuela is wider at the top, thinner at the bottom, kind of like the letter V. So for Venezuela, it's kind of shaped like the letter V. I click that. I'm 17 seconds over. We're going to fly through Argentina, Bolivia, Brazil, Chile, Colombia, Ecuador, without even looking at the questions. Falkland Islands. Okay, French Guiana, Guyana. I've played this about 3 or 4 times. Paraguay, Peru, Suriname, Uruguay, and Venezuela. Okay, we beat the clock, and now we're going to play in random order. I'm going to click the go button. In random order, you have to look at the question each time. Colombia is connected. Suriname is in the middle. Chile is shaped like a chili, red or green. Peru, Argentina, Paraguay. We know you know Uruguay and Paraguay now. Venezuela is shaped like the letter V. Ecuador. Ecuador's on the equator. Guyana. These are in random order. Brazil, Uruguay, Bolivia, and French Guiana. 4 seconds over. That's pretty darn good. I'm going to click the go, and we're going to fly through this without a whole lot of bantering about different topics and side trails. I'm going to click Chile. I'm just going to say the word. I'm going to click Paraguay, Argentina, Guyana, Guyana, Venezuela, Suriname, Ecuador. The buttons are disappearing. Falkland Islands, French Guiana, Brazil, Colombia, Bolivia, Peru, and Uruguay. We beat the clock. Okay, seriously, it's that easy to do this system. Now we're going into test mode. I click go. In test mode, it asks for Colombia. We're not racing the clock, but I know that Colombia is connected. Guyana, this is French Guiana, this is Guyana, Argentina. The buttons do not disappear, but if I get it right, I get a green light. That's for Venezuela. I get a green light, Bolivia, Argentina, Bolivia, French Guiana, Suriname, Paraguay, Falkland Islands, Peru. One of our friends, Mike, tells me he thinks this is shaped like the letter P. Well, it is kind of wider at the top there. Peru, that's how he finds Peru. Ecuador on the equator. We're not racing the clock. Big Brazil, Chile. And we've answered 13 so far. If I get the next one correct, I think I get 100%. It asks for Uruguay, and all of our buttons are green. We got 100%. The certificate option will show up. If we want to wait for it, we can just simply exit and go back to that. So that is how easy it is to use this system. And now we're back to, what did I do? Are you still in? Are you still with us, Matt?
I'm still here. Yesterday we were hiking and we went to this tower in Puerto Rico where you could see the forest, you could see the sky, you could see the ocean, you could see the city of San Juan. And Bob had hiked all the way to the top of the tower. He counted 96 steps. And when he got there, he had offered to take pictures of all the families that had come up. And there was this one gentleman, he was there by himself, but he asked Bob to take a picture of him on the edge of the castle. And Bob always asks everyone he meets, where are you from? And he told us he was from Venezuela. And he had mentioned the earthquakes that had happened recently. And unfortunately, people died from that earthquake, I think in the hundreds, which is very unfortunate. But because we played this game today, now I have a better idea of where Venezuela is on the map. It's right next to the ocean. And when there's an earthquake by an ocean, that can lead to terrible waves and tsunamis and all these things. And before, when I read about Venezuela in the news, all I knew was South America. But by knowing where it is on the map, it makes me better at interpreting the news and knowing what the ramifications of that could be. So I don't know if anyone from Venezuela is watching. I'm so sorry that you had to go through that. But the value of these games isn't just memorizing the map. It helped me better understand what I watched and what I read on the news, and hopefully made me more sympathetic to what was going on. So it's interesting that we chose South America today after we met that gentleman from Venezuela in Puerto Rico, of all places.
And that was really one of the coolest parts of yesterday, because there were several groups of people come up there. One of the guys came up and he's by himself, and he asked Mark if he'd take his picture. So that kind of gave us all the idea we can help each other out up there at the top. So we did take the picture of that guy from Venezuela, and there's another family from Georgia up there, and we visited for these people. And to me, the exciting part of knowing geography is being able to ask people a simple question: where are you from? And we met another guy. We were having breakfast at a little cafe, and there was this guy came in and sat down at a different table. And I said to Mark, I said, where do you think that guy's from? He said, I don't know. And I said to Mark, I said, he looks like a surfer kid from California. So we ate our breakfast. And as we're leaving, I said to the guy, I said, where are you from? And he said, I just moved to Rio Grande. Rio Grande was a municipality where we were in. And because we know more about Puerto Rico, we could have a conversation. He just moved to Rio Grande. I said, where'd you move from? He said, Culebra. Now, that's an island that has a bioluminescent little creatures in the oven, in the, what do you call it? The bay. And when you're swimming through there, the water turns blue from all these little animals. So to me, that's the beauty of knowing geography. So I think
And
that's
it was
enough for
fun.
now. Yeah.
I just want to add one more thing. Usually, when you've told that story about asking that question, it was someone that you thought wasn't from the area. And when you asked him that question, he said, "Oh, I'm from around here." But that wasn't a dead end in the conversation. He knew that we weren't from there. And he continued to explain to us, like, oh, like you should go to Isabella, you should check out all these places. This is what I do here. So before, you've often explained it in the context of let's make someone feel welcome that isn't from where I'm from. But it was flip-flopped on its head the other day when Alejandro explained to us, like, oh, you guys don't know the area like I do. Let me give you some suggestions. And it was so cool that you just asked that question, because not only did we get to know him a little bit, it made us feel more welcome and acclimated where we were visiting in Puerto Rico.
And that was, to me, that was one of the highlights of the day, visiting with Alejandro. And the cool thing was, I said to Mark, he looks like a surfer kid from California. But it turns out at the age of about 25, he owns his own company teaching surfing and a couple of other things too. Matt, what else did he teach?
He teaches surfing. He runs like this yacht videography service. I'm wondering if he not only does the videos, but kind of manages this yacht club too. And he had beautiful footage. He has like a waterproof camera set up so he could bring his camera right into the water to get the surfers and the boats and the tourism that's happening. Very impressive stuff. We followed him on our Instagram account, so I'll make sure that we can plug him in the future. He had a very professional, great looking layout of all of his work.
And that is, again, the beauty of geography knowledge, because if we did not know anything about geography, we just came to Puerto Rico without knowing anything, I would have been hesitant to ask him, where you from? Because then I would have looked like some guy that doesn't really care. And the conversation would have ended. But because we know some geography about Puerto Rico, it shows we do care. And that causes a connection with people from all around the world. So anyway, it was a great day yesterday. We did so many things. We'll tell you about that in the next live stream. But for now, uh, we'll see you later. All right. I'm going to click in stream, and it'll say that took 30 minutes.
That was a great stream.